Hey, welcome to Daily Cover Color. My name's Max. If you don't like to hear me rant, don't watch this one. All right, so no Daily Cover Color today because my spreadsheets still don't work, despite I worked on them for probably 12 to 18 hours yesterday. I spent $60. I subscribed to Live Data. That didn't work. Nothing worked. Then I tried moving it all to Excel, and there's nothing I hate worse than Microsoft, you guys. I hate this Microsoft computer that I use. I give anything not to have to use Microsoft. Microsoft is absolutely terrible. They make terrible consumer products compared to Apple and Google, in my opinion. However, I was so desperate last night, I even I tried to import the sheet to frickin' Microsoft. Here's what it won't do. See where it says SPX? All I needed to do is tell me the price of the SPX. It says the price of most everything else, but it won't pull the price of the SPX. Being a financial influencer, I have to have the price of the SPX. It's the most important thing I need every day. You guys have no idea how cool this retirement simulator is, and I can't get it to work because of the spreadsheet. Does anyone else have this problem? I don't know why this. I mean, I didn't used to have this problem, and it's not just SPX. It's also Apply, it's also TLTW, USOY, XOMO, Devo, TLT. I mean, it freaking sucks. And I spent $14 and I threw money at it. I'm not used to having a problem that you can't throw money at and not fix. I figured if I subscribed to the live quotes, not only that, I added more storage to my Google account. I thought it might be a storage problem. I have a terabyte now of cloud storage. I don't have any freaking idea why this won't work. It's a spreadsheet. It's addition and subtraction. It's the simplest freaking thing in the world. It won't work. I can't even. I was going to try to get this going for you guys today. Just we could do the defiance positions, keep the spreadsheet updated. I ended up putting yesterday's trades in there later in the day after the update, just so I wouldn't get behind. They're in there, and it still doesn't work because it won't show me the price for anything. The spreadsheet still doesn't work, but the data's in there. But today's trades aren't in there. I tried this morning, but I got up this morning and it still didn't work. Not after spending money, not after anything. I have no idea why this has to be this way. Anyway, that's my PSA for today. Microsoft freaking sucks. All right, let's look at stuff I do know about. Let's talk about option trades. All right, let's see what's going on in the politics world too. We can take a look at the clusterfuck trade. Clusterfuck trade's down a little bit today, so that must mean it's quiet in the political world. I mean, from 2 or 3 days ago when we did this. Let's check Polymarket. Did you guys see Polymarket? Trump was ahead 62 to 38. Okay, today she's bounced a little bit to 60 to 39. That's too low. That's not enough for her. The odds are too low. I'm not saying she's going to win, but she has a better than a 39% chance of winning. That's ridiculous. That's obscene. That's free money. Free money. My grandfather would roll over in his grave if he knew I was thinking about a bet on Kamala, but that's free money. She has a 50-50 shot by any metric out there. Maybe 48-52 by some metrics. Okay, but 39-60, no way. That's not reality. Now, that doesn't mean that she's going to win. She has a better than 39% chance of winning. You bet this 100 times, you're going to come out ahead. I have no idea what's going to happen, but that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's free money. Let me show you a free money trade. All you have to do is $3,900 or $390 on her. You're going to win $610. You spend $390 on her, and let's build a hedge. Let's hedge it with the DJT trade. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I do this. We're going to build a, we'll start with the calendar call spread. It's not really what we're doing, but okay, we're going to take the back part of the calendar out to January of 2025 after the election. That's the part we're going to own. The sold strike is going to be November 15th, right around the election. It's holding all that extra volatility. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set up a situation where we can win in either event. Maybe this update won't be a total bust. Some of you guys get something out of this. I'm sorry the spreadsheets don't work. I would give anything for them to work. That's all I did yesterday. I didn't do anything else except work on the spreadsheets. And I went to bed at like 1:55 last night. Like I said, I woke up this morning with $60 charges on my credit card for various services that I thought I needed. Still doesn't work. So I can't buy myself out of this one. All right, so here's our hedge trade right here. This is a calendar spread. Okay, we're going to risk $267 on this trade. Okay, Grandpa, don't get mad if I'm betting on Kamala. I'm going to win either way. So if we make this trade and then Kamala, and what do you think is going to happen if Kamala doesn't win? We're going to get to the election and it's going to be crazy. And I bet the volatility is even higher. But this trade, if you're trying to make $100, well, trying to make $200, really, this trade needs to make $390 because this trade a win on this trade needs to replace what you lose on the other trade. So it'd make $425 if the market went nowhere. Maybe let's do this. Let's get this leg out a little bit and make this spread more bullish. Okay, now this trade costs $340, but it makes $430. Here's what I'm saying. If Trump wins, the price of DJT was going to stay where it is or go up, but the volatility will increase, maybe even double, especially going into the election. So I think this Trump hedge trade, even if the stock drops to 20, should be a $300 winner and should replace most of the money you spent on Kamala. If this stock goes to zero, it's because Trump wins. It's because Kamala won. So the 390 you bet on Kamala was going to make 1,000. So it has to pay for this trade, which is 340. And it just has to pay for this trade. Okay. So it's about a $700 winner. If Kamala wins, you're going to win $1,000, but you're going to lose. Well, actually, but it cost you $350 to make the Kamala trade, or it cost you $390 to make it. So, well, no, wait, but you're going to make, you'll net $610. Okay, the $610 just has to replace the whatever this is, $345. If Kamala wins, you make 1,000 less $345. Okay, that equals whatever that equals. It's too early in the morning. If Trump wins, depending on what happens to volatility, even if the price of DJT doesn't move, and even if volatility stays where it is, you make $317. You almost replace the money you lost on the Kamala side of it. So what it's really a bet on is there's no way we're going to get to this election and we're going to have less volatility. It's going to be more, at least by 50%. And at 50%, this trade makes anywhere between $400 if price stays where it is, which would totally replace the money you wasted on Kamala. Or if price should happen to go up 10 points or 20 points, we're looking at $500 or $600. So if Trump wins, 600 less whatever you wasted on the Kamala bet, 390. So whatever that equals. And we probably should vary, and you can vary the ratio depending on what you really think is going to happen. I was just trying to find a way that you can make money either way. If you're, anyway, hit me up in the comments if you guys want a special way to do this. But anyway, let's save this trade. This is today's cluster fuck trade. We'll see how this one does. I do a new one every day in case, because you can't put on a trade at yesterday's prices in case somebody's looking today. There's today's clusterfuck strategy right there. I'll put it in the comments in case anyone, here, I'm even going to copy the link right now. I'll put it in the comments in case anyone wants to look at it or wants to put it on. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Let's see what else we have in saved trades. Okay, now we have some ULTY trades that I'm going to talk about. Let's just talk about those now, and then we'll also talk about, I have a couple of, we're going to look at some call spreads from yield max. We'll cover a little yield max ground. All right, so let's talk ULTY. So ULTY has a couple of trades on. Or they have 3 trades on that I would call exotic, where they have an option overlay strategy where they own the stock, but they have a kind of an exotic strategy, like more exotic than a covered call, on top of the stock. In this case, they're running well, I don't know what you'd call it. They're selling a bull. They're selling puts to buy calls. They're selling a bull put spread to finance the purchase of bear call spread, or of bull call spreads. So it is a bullish trade. You're bullish through the shares. They have 14,000 shares of Netflix. Great job. It looks like it's up today. They have, but they have 140 option contracts of this exotic overlay. But all they're doing is they're taking some risk from the back, from this side of the curve, and putting some reward over here. They're just moving the risk and reward around. This is one of the things that options are great at. So the thing is, Jay will probably roll this before we get to expiration. Here's the profit and loss graph at expiration. It looks a little funny because of the spread on top of it. But you can see between these 2 strikes, they lose twice as much. If they land here, they lose. They have a little bonus loss. If they land here, they have a little bonus gain. They make more than they should. And God forbid, if they get above this one, that's the best outcome. They have more. They make more than they should otherwise on just stock alone. Okay, great trade. We'll see how it turns out. So they have one on Netflix. That one's up $1 million today. They have one on In-Phase. What is this? I think it's an oil company. In-Phase Exploration. ENPHASE. They're probably out of Houston. Energy companies are always out of Houston, it seems like, or lots of them are. Okay, so this is an interesting trade. So these guys, they bought 80,000 shares of this stock. It's about 4% of the ULTY portfolio. I think it's about $5 million or $2. I forget. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's 4%. So what they did, as soon as they bought, I don't know as soon as they bought the shares, but when they bought the shares, they did a covered call on them. So here's what the profit and loss graph looks like for the covered call. See, they would have made $803,000 if they did it that way, but they did a covered caller. They did a caller. So that means they sold a call to finance the purchase of a put. So let's include this. Okay, now look what that does. That's a big difference. This is the way I do covered calls with limited risk. This is the way my father did covered calls, and his father did unlimited risk. And it wasn't that they didn't have options, it's that there wasn't enough back in the day. In theory, you could have done this same trade back in the day, but there wasn't enough liquidity and wasn't enough strike prices. It wasn't enough expirations. And the main thing was the commissions were way too high to do a multi-leg trade on top of owning stock. You just wouldn't do it back in the day unless you had a 7-figure account. And the 7-figure account guys have been doing stuff like this forever. They don't have unlimited loss. That's why they stay rich. You know, the first thing Mark Cuban did when he made his billions is he hedged it. He slapped on this trade. This is the Cuban trade. They call it the Cuban collar. He had something $2 billion worth of Yahoo right at the end of the tech bubble, and he didn't want it to crash before he could sell it because of the contractual obligations. You're saying he was under some kind of lockout period, and he had to hold the Yahoo stock for a year or 6 months or some period of time. He couldn't sign the papers and dump the stock the next day. So he went to his brokers in Dallas and they were option guys, or they talked to their option guys, and they put this on Yahoo. It saved his fortune. Within a couple of years, Yahoo stock was like, 20% of what it was at the highs. If he would have kept it all in Yahoo, instead of having a billion, or he sold that company for like $5 billion, but he had a partner, Todd, but I think his share of it was $2 billion or something that he had to protect. I believe that's right. Anyway, rich people don't lose money. You don't have to if you're rich. It's optional to lose money. You just, once you know how to use options, you don't have to lose money. You don't have to have any kind of unlimited loss, big bad situations. ULTY should have done this off the get-go instead of the covered calls. People are done with covered calls. The covered call is dead. Now that the covered call spread and the more exotic option strategies here, covered call just doesn't make as much sense to me anyway. Anyway, that's a badass trade right there. We'll see how it turns out. Like I always say, just because the trade's badass, it doesn't predict what's going to happen in the future. This stock could still go to zero and the trade could lose $954,000. But it wouldn't lose. You can't control that. You can't control the stock goes to zero. It's going to go to zero. It's going to go to zero. It has nothing to do with this chart. You play it this way, you're going to lose $7 million. It's just like the thing on Kamala. The market has no idea whether she's going to win or not. Just because her odds are too low doesn't mean she's going to win. Maybe she's going to get spanked. Typically betting markets are efficient, and most years they are, and they would line up with the actual real chances of winning. Trump has a bunch of billionaire crypto bros, and that's a billionaire crypto bro platform, Polymarket, and they're betting him more as a sign of support, not so much. They're betting him even when the economics of it doesn't make sense. Okay, well, that's fine. That's your right. It's America. Okay. But that means I can turn around and bet Kamala because her economics don't make sense either, even though I don't even want her to win necessarily. I'm not saying who I want to win, but I'm not betting either one because I'm a fan. I'm looking at it because I want to make money. I want to make money either way. Okay. That's all I care about. All right, let's switch this back on. Okay. So now the third trade, but anyway, I think that's a really cool trade. They should do this if they would have done a caller on every ULTY trade, they should have done callers. Triple QY should be a caller fund. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about callers. Are really cool. Triple QY shouldn't have unlimited downside. They ought to do this with triple QY. They ought to knock off some of that downside by buying a put. All right. Let's see. They had one more kind of exotic trade. This was as of yesterday. This one is, I guess, American Express, and this one is not working out. Holy shit. All right. This one's underwater big time. Okay. Well, let's see what they did. So they bought 340,000 shares of American Express. And, okay. Okay. This is a different kind of trade he's doing. Okay. This one's not working out great for Jay. Sorry about this one, Jay. Okay, what Jay did here is he sold a put spread. Selling puts is bullish. So he's bullish through that trade. He's also owned stock, so he's bullish through owning stock. So he's double bullish especially between the strikes at 280 and 292. If it goes between 280 and 292 or under, he pays a price. It costs extra. That's what's happened today. That's what's happened. So, no matter how fancy the strategy is, it doesn't mean it always works out, but you can damn sure move the risk and reward around a lot to meet your goals. So they have one that's doing great, up about $1 million, one that's down about even, and then one that's getting killed. Now I don't have the exact these are just approximate. I don't have the exact cost basis of these shares. I was just trying to show mainly how the option trade itself works and where we're rooting for the stock to go. Okay, so we've got our clusterfuck spread. If anyone wants to do, that's not a bad trade. That's not a bad trade. And it's not a bad trade to buy Kamala. $390 on Kamala, $340 on this spread. You could even win both of them. What's probably going to happen, So everyone that, all the conspiracy people say the election's fixed, they aren't going to let them win. Okay, well, if that's what you believe, yeah, then go bet on Kamala. It's free money. If that's really what you, if all these, I got all these Trumpers, and they it's fixed. They're going to, okay, that's fine. Go bet on Kamala. And at least, and it still piss you off they fix the election, but at least put some money in your pocket. Put $610 in your pocket, right? And then hedge it with this. There, like I say, there's a good chance they fix it or whatever. There's a good chance she squeaks it out anyway, I think. But because it's highly contested, this is what I'm really going for on this one. I really think volatility could go twice as high on this spread. Volatility could go 200% or something. I'm not really playing for the price to move. If the price moves, that's fine. You don't want it to move down too much. But this is a good play. This is a good play. You get into election and something crazy does happen, it's $600-700 spread, or maybe $800, depending on where the price is. Even if the price drops back to 20, it's a $300 winner. It'll at least offset the cost of the Kamala trade. That's all I'm looking for is free money. I like to try to find situations where I can remove all the risk. All right, so that's it on, okay, so we'll stop talking about that. We talked about politics. What else should we talk about? Well, everyone has any ideas on my spreadsheets, let me know. I have a friend of mine who's an Excel expert, and he knows everything there's to know about Excel. So I'm gonna show him what I've done, and because basically what I thought is maybe Google sucks. Maybe I have it wrong. Maybe it's the Google Cloud, and because I did some research, and that's what some people were saying. So that's fine. Google sucks. I have it wrong. So I'm fine with scrapping everything and going to Microsoft. And I basically tried to do that real fast last night, but that didn't even fix it. But anyway, I'm going to bounce it off my friend. We'll see what he says. All right, guys, the sun's killing me. I'm going to get out of here. Hope you have a good day. Thanks for listening to the rant. Hope everything will be fixed by next week. That's what I said last week too, though, but oh well.